Justin, why are you frowning? You're supposed to be in a good mood. You're going to be president of World Oil tomorrow.
Ashley, I don't think you should be drinking.
For heaven's sakes, why not?
Because of the baby.
The baby?
Ashley, have you forgotten you're pregnant with my child?
No, of course I haven't forgotten.
I swear, girl, sometimes you act like you're not pregnant at all.
Well, how am I supposed to act?
Concerned?
Of course I'm concerned, but everything's fine. I just wish you'd stop worrying.
I just read an article about not drinking while you're pregnant.
Well, now, Justin, I don't think that one little glass of wine is going to hurt me or the baby. Probably won't even finish it anyway.
Well, we will have to be careful, right?
We will be careful.
Well, look who's here.
Good evening. Buster said we could have a table out here if it's all right. Thank you.
Never mind.
What?
We're not staying.
Where are we gonna go? Have you decided yet?
Not yet. But I'll tell you one thing. Ain't gonna be the Ritz. What's important is that we get out of here before Ruby turns us into the cops.
Or to Mr. Parnell? Mr. Parnell, I'm sorry to bother you at a time like this.
Ruby, quite all right.
Hello, Jim.
When you called us before, you said you had something important to talk to us about.
I do. When I talked to you earlier today, I got the feeling you might be very interested in finding out where Joe Foster might be.
Yeah, he used to work for us.
I know that. That's why I came to you.
Well, what about?
I know where you can find Joe Foster.
You know, we promised we wouldn't let Justin ruin our lives.
Ryan, anytime we try to go anywhere...
Listen, it's going to be impossible not to run into him from time to time. That is, unless we just stay in the house and don't go anywhere.
I know I shouldn't let him upset me so much.
That's right, then don't. Okay? You know what? We think we have a real good chance of delaying that meeting tomorrow. That is, if TJ can talk the board members into giving us more time.
Seems that Ashley and Justin are celebrating a little early.
Well, it's okay by me. Because once I prove my innocence, they're going to have a real hard time celebrating anything. I tell you what, let's just pretend they're not here, okay? Hey, wonder if TJ is going to meet us here anyway.
Well, from the sound of what he was saying before, he was probably driving all over Houston looking for chili, hamburger, and barbecue places.
Don't blame him. When I was traveling around, spending a lot of time out of the country, I craved hamburgers, too.
Well, he said he just arrived from Casablanca this afternoon, so he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Hey.
He must be an awfully hotshot lawyer for him to be Stryker's protege.
He is. When he was in law school at the University of Texas, he worked for Stryker during the summer, and real fast he became his law clerk, and then he became an associate.
So now he's over handling Stryker's business in foreign countries?
Mm-hmm. When Stryker decided to slow down a few years ago, he turned over the firm's legal affairs, foreign affairs, to TJ. Apparently TJ's been handling them real well.
He sure seems to love being a man of the world.
Well, being a man of the world has its advantages.
Would you like to go back to that kind of life?
Never. I just want to make you happy.
Do. Listen. The last time we were here, we were with Max and Rena.
I know.
That's Max's favorite song.
Let's dance this one from Max, okay?
Okay. When did you discover
Elena was hiding Joe Foster.
This afternoon. They were a little late with Elena's paycheck, so I thought I'd do her a favor and drop it by myself.
And you saw Foster there?
I heard him through the door, and I thought I should come and tell you about it right away.
It's funny. We checked that apartment several times. There didn't seem to be anybody there.
That's because Elena is now living in Bobby Sue's apartment over the beauty parlor.
Bobby Sue?
Yeah, she's the girlfriend of Roy who works the bar at the Coop. Her beauty shop is just down the street from there.
Ruby, why did you come to us instead of going to the police?
Well, I thought about that, but since I work for Mr. Parnell, and since I knew you were both interested in finding Foster, I decided I should come to you first.
Very smart, Ruby.
Of course, you and I had also talked about your backing a record of Ricky Decker's. And I was hoping that now that I've done you this little favor, we might talk about it some more.
And we will. We should have dinner sometime soon. I'm sure we can work something out that'd be satisfactory to both of us.
Well, I trust you and Mr. Parnell will take care of notifying the police.
Oh, of course.
Good. I'd hate to have a criminal like that running around loose. Well, I guess I better be going back to the Coop.
Well, thanks for coming by, Ruby. We'll talk later.
Isn't Ricky singing at the top of the world club tonight?
Oh, yes, he is, but Billy Joe needs me right now more than Ricky does. See, his wife just divorced him, and he needs a little consolation. Oh, I was just curious as to why you and Mr. Lawrence are so interested in Joe Foster.
Oh, well, Foster used to work for us, Ruby, and we have reason to believe that he stole some money from our company. And if the police get to him first, we may never be able to recover any of it.
I thought it was something like that. Well, good luck getting your money back.
Thanks, Ruby. See you. You think she knows too much?
You just leave Ruby right to me, Peter. You take care of Joe Foster.
What if Elena's there, too?
So much the better. Then you can take care of both of them.
Joe, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can leave these behind.
Elena, honey, we gotta travel light.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like I'm leaving my whole life behind me.
I know. Who's that?
This is Max when he was a baby.
I know what you're going through, but, you know, we just gotta draw the line somewhere. Once we cross the border into Mexico, we're gonna have to hike with these bags.
Yeah, you're right.
I just hate getting you into this mess.
No, come on, Joe. I want to be with you. Look, it's all right. It really is.
No, it's not all right.
Joe.
Give me those. Look, this is my bag. I'll carry him.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Now, look, there's something we got to talk about before we go.
Okay, what?
I don't think you should go to the Coop tonight.
Joe, now come on. We've been through this already. I'm going to drive you to a motel. I'm going to go and do my show, and then I'm going to meet you there.
Elena, what if Ruby has told Parnell about me and Parnell is there?
I'll be careful. And if it looks like Mr. Parnell knows something, I'll call you at the motel. And don't worry, I won't lead him to you.
I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you.
I don't think he's going to try anything on me.
Elena, the man is desperate. He wants his money. He killed Alex Wheeler.
Joe, he wouldn't try to do anything to me right there in the Coop.
No, he'd wait till you left the Coop.
Well, Joe, I'll make sure that he's not following me.
I don't like it.
Look, I've got to go over to the Coop tonight. I got to tell Billy Joe this is my last show. Hey, look, I like the fact that you're worrying about me, but I'm going to be fine.
If anything happened to you,
It won't, okay? Now stop worrying. I'm going to be all right. Okay, I think that's it. We better go. If we forgot something, I don't know. We'll get it in Mexico or something.
Oh, I did forget something.
find him?
Oh, he was just sitting on the bed, wondering why you'd forgotten about him.
Oh, Joe.
You gave him to me for good luck, remember?
Yes, I remember. Are we going to have room for him?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm still alive and kicking, so the good luck must have worked pretty good. I don't really see how we can afford to leave him.
I love you, Joe.
I love you, too.
And I think that should do it. Thank you very much. Well, are you hungry?
Oh, yes, I am.
Good. I think you should eat very well during your pregnancy.
Yes, Justin.
Actually, I've been thinking, I think that we should start interviewing people.
What for?
Well, we need a maid, and we're going to need a nurse when the baby comes.
Justin, the baby's not going to be born for a long time.
I know, we have to make preparations. I don't want Grandma having to do all the work out there at the ranch.
Well, now, she has that lady that comes in twice a week.
No, that's not enough. I think we're going to have a cook and perhaps a butler in addition to the maid.
A butler? Your grandmother is going to throw a fit, Justin. Now, you know she's going to hate having strange people in her house doing the things that she likes to do.
Well, she's just going to have to adjust to certain changes around the ranch. After all, when I'm head of the company, we're going to be entertaining a lot, and we're going to need help.
Let's wait till after the board meeting. We'll talk to your grandmother and see what she thinks then, okay?
Okay. You think I'm moving too fast, I guess?
Maybe.
Well, I don't think so. And I don't think Margaret Hanson would think so either.
Television's own.
KVIK star reporter.
What does she have to do with it?
Well, obviously, she thinks I'm going to be a big shot. She wants to interview me.
Why you? Sorry, I mean there are other big shots in Texas.
Well, she's doing a special on young executives. She wants to include me because I will be president of World Oil.
Ah. But I bet that the young executives' wives won't be included.
My wife will be included. I told Margaret about that.
Well, now, did you just do that because you think that I'm the reason that you've gotten as far as you have?
That's true, isn't it? How about a dance?
Well, I had to check my dance card.
I'm signed up for every one of them.
And I'm gonna have a baked potato with that steak. Okay, do you want anything else?
Now we have to talk to Kate about the wedding.
Do you seriously think that Justin really will let us have the wedding at the ranch?
Kate said she'd take care of it.
It's important to you now, isn't it?
It's especially important to Steve. He feels very comfortable out there, and I want him to be included in our wedding plans.
I think we better find out about Justin before we invite anyone, okay?
There's TJ with that girl.
What girl?
The one that was at the top of the World Bar.
She met another man over there.
Now she's with TJ. So much for all that talk about chili. Hello there.
Hi.
Hi, glad you could come there, TJ.
Well, I thought I'd give the place a chance. Did you two meet Cassie earlier?
No, we
Oh.
didn't.
Oh, well, Cassie, this is Jenny Marshall and Ryan Connor. Cassie Rhodes.
Nice to meet you.
We'll have scotch and water and plain tonic with lime. Plain tonic. Well, Jenny, you were right. This boathouse is really a great place.
Actually, there's a gentleman at Ginny and Ryan's table who's staring at my wife.
How you feeling, Billy Joe?
I'll live.
Have a beer with me.
I don't want a beer.
You know, you can't let this divorce thing get you down. Think of all the great things you got going for you.
Yeah, sure.
I mean it. You're making more money than you ever have before. Look how great you're doing on the Phil Roberts show. You know what Ben said to me the other day?
What?
He said the response to you was so good that they're thinking about giving you a new part on the show. You know, making you sort of a co-host.
It's great.
It is great. And I think you should be real proud. You've got a lot of things to be proud about, Billy Joe. Well, look what you've done for the Coop. It's real successful now. You've done a terrific job.
Yeah, terrific.
I don't think that's a very good attitude, Billy Joe.
Ruby, I'd give it all up right now if I could get Nita back.
You don't mean that.
Yes, I do.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I think Nita really wasn't the right girl for you. For an up-and-coming TV personality, she just wasn't the right kind of wife.
Give it a rest, will you, Ruby?
No, I won't. I think you're acting like a little kid who's had his candy taken away from him. You are an important man, Billy Joe. It's about time you realized that and started acting important.
I don't feel important.
Go back to Waco, honey. Take a walk down the street and see all the heads turn. Then you feel pretty important. We come a long way up the ladder, you and me.
That judge this afternoon in the courtroom just knocked me right back down again, in case you're interested.
Nita's not the only girl in the world, Billy Joe. You remember those 2 girls outside the KVIK station waiting for your autograph? Well, in a month, there's going to be 100 girls out there. You can have your pick out of any one of them.
You just don't understand, do you, Ruby? I love Nita. Nita's the only girl I ever loved. Those 3 years I was in Huntsville, she waited for me.
So?
That's because she loved me, Ruby. I don't want 100 girls. I just want Nita.
She'd only hold you back, darling. Look at her. Her father ran a filling station in Waco, and she'd be just as happy if you ran one, too. That's what Nita has, a filling station mentality. Now, is that what you're looking for in a wife?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Look, if it's all right with you, I just do not talk about it. What time's Elena going to get here anyway? She's supposed to be here by now.
I don't know. I saw her a little earlier, and she was acting kind of strange. I hope she shows.
Well, she better show.
I wouldn't count on it.
What are you talking about? Here she comes now.
Ashley,
Yes?
how do you know T.J. Canfield?
I went to school with him.
College?
No, graduate school, actually. He was just finishing up law school when I met him.
Did you date him?
No. I dated a fraternity brother of his, though. That's how I met him.
Oh. Wonder what he's doing here.
Justin, there was never anything between me and TJ.
He might mean trouble. He's an associate in Stryker's law firm. He's been out of the country for most of the past 2 years. I guess he's handling Stryker's foreign deals now.
Oh, you know him?
I know of him. He used to handle a lot of my dad's business. Stryker was also my dad's lawyer, you know.
Yes, I know. Is TJ a good lawyer?
He's one of the best. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's in Houston right now.
You think that his being here has something to do with the board meeting tomorrow?
I think he's here to vote Stryker's proxy for him and cause a little trouble.
Well, now, what kind of trouble could he possibly cause?
I don't know. But Stryker didn't bring him all the way back to Houston for nothing.
TJ, where do you know Ashley?
I met her when I was in law school.
Did you go together?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Well, what would you say?
Well, we went out once together. She was in graduate school business, I think. How long have she and Justin been married?
They got married last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go and say hello. Excuse me.
Don't be too long.
I'll be right back. Hello, Ashley Linden.
TJ.
Ashley Lyndon Marshall. Hello, I'm Justin
My
Marshall.
husband.
T.J. Canfield. Nice to meet you.
Happy to meet you.
Oh, TJ, it's been a long time.
And you're more beautiful than I remember. I heard you two just got married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
TJ, sit down. See if you can find a chair.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Yes, sit down.
It's good to see you again, Ashley.
Oh, it's nice to see you again, too. How have you been doing?
Fine. Certainly don't have to ask how you are. You look fantastic.
You haven't changed a bit, TJ.
You know, I used to work with your daddy.
You did?
He was one fine man.
Yes, yes, he was.
Yeah, how's your grandmother, Kate, doing?
She's doing fine. Ashley and I are staying with her out at the ranch now.
I look forward to seeing her again.
Yeah. What are you doing back in Houston? I heard you were in Casablanca.
I'm here to represent Stryker Bellman at the World Oil Board of Directors meeting.
You came all the way back to Houston to vote Stryker's proxy for him. Well, that won't take long, and then you can get right back to Casablanca.
But don't count on it.
Elena, I can't let you start so early tonight. I'm surprised you even asked me.
You have to.
Why do I have to?
Because you just do.
Now, that's no answer. Now, you saw the other room there. Half our customers aren't even here yet.
Billy Joe.
What?
Look, Wang is having a fit back in the kitchen.
Oh, not Wang again.
Well, you better go calm him down. You're the only one he seems to listen to.
All right, now just don't do anything until I get back, all right?
What's wrong, Ruby? Nothing. Well, I think I'll go in the back room and see if Andy and the band are ready. How's Joe? It's fine. You sure? Ruby, what are you talking about? You were going to double-cross me, weren't you? I don't know what you mean, Ruby. That check from your Aunt Maggie. That was for you and Joe to leave town, wasn't it? I told you that was to buy some new furniture. $10,000 worth? That would buy you an awful lot of new furniture, Elena. It also could get you pretty far away. I have a lot of things to buy. Well, that may have been what you told your Aunt Maggie, but I'm not as gullible as she is. Tell Billy Joe I'm in the back room. Why are Pete Parnell and Jim Lawrence so interested in finding Joe? I don't know. Why do you ask? Because they're paying him a little visit this very moment. I told them where he is.
I wonder what TJ's up to anyway.
I don't know. But I do know he better come back to this table soon, or Cassie's going to take a taxi home.
She may be gone already. She's been gone a long time.
Yes, she has. This has been rather a strange evening, hasn't it?
Well, I'm having a real good time.
What do you think of TJ?
I'm not sure. Stryker says he's a hell of a lawyer, so coming from him, that's quite a compliment.
I had a feeling that Vicky didn't approve of him very much.
Yeah, at the top of the World Club, I had the same feeling. Doesn't seem to bother TJ at all, though, does it?
Nothing seems to bother TJ. Not even Justin.
TJ, I told Justin a little white lie about you.
Oh, what was that?
I told him I'd never dated you.
Well, that's pretty close to the truth, Ashley. As I recall, you dated me once and wouldn't go out with me again after that.
You've got a good memory.
Well, for some things. You know, I never did figure out why you wouldn't go out with me after that first time.
Oh, well, you moved a little bit too fast for me, TJ.
Well, I've slowed down a little since then.
Oh, I bet.
Are you happy?
Being married to Justin? Yes, I'm very happy.
Even though he's a crook?
TJ's not a crook. I mean, you're only hearing one side of this argument. You're hearing Ryan's side. He's the crook.
The Stryker doesn't think so.
Well, Stryker's wrong.
I remember you always being ambitious.
Yes, and I always remember that you never liked it. Tell me something, TJ. Do you still think that a woman's place is in the home?
And taking care of the kids.
Oh, how can you live all over the world and still have those good old boy values?
Well, I suppose you and Justin won't be starting a family anytime soon.
We might. I can handle a family and a career, too.
Well, I hope Justin has another job lined up for himself.
Oh, haven't you heard? He's going to be president of World Oil after tomorrow.
You'd really like that, wouldn't you?
You bet.
Well, too bad you're going to be disappointed.
Are you trying to tell me that, that Ryan has some way of getting the board to not vote him out of office?
Well, we're going to do our best.
Sorry, TJ. You'll lose.
We're smart and we're honest, Ashley. That's always a winning combination.
Where did you tell Mr. Parnell where Joe was? That apartment over Bobby Sue's beauty parlor. How could you do that, Ruby? What did you have to gain? You were running out on me. What did you expect me to do? But now it looks like you're going to be leaving Houston all by yourself. If you go at all. Well, I guess I'm going to go back in the other room and wait for the show to start. It ought to be real interesting.
I don't know what I'm going to do about Wang. Somebody sends back a hamburger just because they don't like the way it's cooked, and he hits the roof. You think he was some famous French chef or something?
Billy Joe, we got to start that show right now.
Hey, how'd it go?
It didn't. Foster wasn't there.
What do you mean he wasn't there?
I mean, he wasn't there. What do you think I mean? Neither was Elena.
Did you get inside?
Yeah, I jimmied the lock and went inside, but the place was empty.
So Ruby lied to us.
No, they'd been there. Left a few things behind. But they'd gone. Guess they found out we were on to them.
Now, go easy on that stuff, Peter. You still got a job to do.
You go easy yourself. All you have to do is stand there giving orders. I mean, you're clean. I dealt with Foster directly. I'm the one that they're going to trace the drug operation back to.
Look, will you calm down? Now, look, I think we can still find Joe Foster.
I think you're wrong. He's probably halfway to South America.
Maybe, maybe not. In any case, there's one way to find out.
Yeah, what's that?
Elaine is scheduled to sing tonight at the Coop, isn't she?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Calling the Coop.
Well, did you have a good time dancing with TJ?
For heaven's sakes, just. I was just trying to find out if he and Ryan had any new information. What's the matter with you?
Nothing. I guess I'm just tired.
Well, there's no reason for you to be angry with TJ.
It's just his being in town before the board meeting tomorrow. I think Stryker Bellman has figured out a way to delay the vote.
I don't think that's true.
You think TJ would have told you if there had been any new information, Ashley?
Justin, I could tell from speaking to him that there was nothing new.
All I have to do is convince the board of directors to keep Ryan in office long enough for him to uncover new evidence. That's it for me at World Oil.
I really think that you're making too big of a deal out of TJ being here, Justin.
Waiter, pay our bill and keep the change. Let's get out of here, Ashley.
Fine.
Looks like there's trouble in paradise.
Well, TJ must have had some effect on Justin, huh?
Must have been. He and Ashley went out here so fast.
I think TJ should come around here more often.
He is quite a charmer, isn't he?
Did he charm you?
A little bit.
Maybe I'm not so happy he's in Houston after all.
Honey, you have nothing to worry about.
I don't, huh?
If you don't know by now that you're the only man in the world for me.
I do know that. That's what's got me through this whole mess. And I know that whatever happens at the company, I'm gonna have you.
And no matter what happens, we're going to be married.
That's right.
As soon as Rena gets back from Venezuela.
Let's date. I love you.
I love you too.
I think Vicky will mind if you stay at my place tonight.
No, I don't think Vicky will mind at all.
Hello, Roy. It's Pete Parnell. Listen, is Elena there? She has. When did she start? No, Roy, no message. Listen, as a matter of fact, Roy, would you mind not mentioning the fact that I called at all? Okay, thanks, Roy. I'll be talking to you.
She's there?
Yeah, Roy says she started singing about 5 minutes ago.
A little early, isn't it?
That's what makes me think something's up.
You better get right down there. Pete.
Yeah?
You forgot something. Now, don't try anything foolish. Just wait till she leaves, then follow her.
Right.
We want her and Joe Foster.
It's all over town, that it's all over now. Everyone's saying it's true. They say you have left me and broken your vow. Tell me, what am I to do?
I'll tell you, Lena's singing real pretty tonight.
Yeah, she sounds good.
You notice she's got Bernie Bear with her?
Yeah, I noticed. She hasn't done that in a long time. Not since that last night that Foster kidnapped her. Well, hey, shouldn't you be at the top of the World Club with Ricky?
I just talked to him. He's about to go on.
Well, yeah, well, shouldn't you be there?
He'll be fine. It's my big brother that I'm worried about.
Your big brother will be fine.
You don't look it. Something's bothering you, isn't it?
You know what's bothering me, Ruby?
No, it's something more than the divorce. It's Elena, isn't it? I noticed it too. She's acting real strange.
Yeah, she is. I just hope she doesn't go flaky on me again.
Me too.
Justin, what's wrong?
Nothing. I just can't get to sleep.
Sweetheart, tell me what's wrong.
It's nothing.
If you're still upset about TJ, forget about it. We were just friends in college.
I know that, Ashley.
Well, then why are you upset?
I'm worried about the board meeting.
Oh, sweetheart. Nothing can go wrong. You have to believe that.
I'm scared, Ashley. My whole world depends on that board meeting. It's my one chance for everything I've ever wanted in this world. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I won't make it.
No. You have Mrs. Wheeler and Dennis on your side. You can't lose.
I wish I could be as sure as you.
You know that Ryan doesn't have any new evidence to introduce at that meeting. They're going to vote him out. You're going to be the president of World Oil. And then you're going to be in control.
I think TJ and Stryker are up to something.
What could they possibly do, Justin? Unless they came up with Mr. Johnson. And you know they haven't found him.
I don't like the idea of TJ coming all the way from Casablanca.
Sweetheart, why do you think that Stryker Bellman had him come? He wanted to shake your confidence. He wanted to make you think that they could stop you. Well, they can't. You hold all the cards. You can't lose.
If I do, I lose everything.
You still have me. And the baby.
I'm doing everything for the baby. And you.
I'm never going to start the show early like this again, Elena. I mean, it's bad for business. I mean, I already got 2 complaints from customers who came in here just in time to catch the end of your show. They came all the way to hear you.
Billy Joe.
What?
Can I just talk to you for a minute?
What
alone?
about, darling? I'm in a hurry here.
It's important. I have to talk to him first, Elena, if you don't mind. It's about our drummer.
Now what's wrong?
He's threatening to quit. He wants more money.
He's already making as much as Andy is.
I know that's what I said, but I guess we better talk to him.
All right, I'll be right back, Elena.
Joe?
Elena.
Yeah. Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. Did you tell Billy Joe this is going to be your last night?
Well, I wanted to until Ruby dragged him off to tell him something.
Is she hanging around there?
Yes. And you were right about her, Joe. She told Parnell about you.
How do you know?
Because she told me so herself.
Oh, man.
You were right about going to that motel. For all we know, Peter Parnell is over at Bobby Sue's apartment right now.
She told Parnell that we were staying there?
Yes.
Elena, I want you to get out of there as fast as you can.
Okay, I will. As soon as I finish talking to Billy Joe, I'll come by the motel. Joe, Pete Parnell just came in.
Well, hello, Miss Parnell.
Is the show over?
About 5 minutes ago.
Where's Elena?
Oh, she's right back there.
Where is she?
Well, she was right there a minute ago.
Oh, she wouldn't have just left like this. She had something real important to talk to me about. Oh, Mr. Parnell, what? What do you suppose that was all about?
Beats me.
Hauled her to the underpass by the freeway, and then I lost her.
What do you mean you lost her?
I mean, she disappeared, like into thin air.
I'm warning you, Peter. If those two
Listen,
get
you
away...
don't have to warn me, Jim. I mean, I want to get my hands on Joe Foster as much as you do. Half that $1 million is mine, in case you've forgotten.
Not the money that worries me. It's the fact that Foster knows you murdered Alex Wheeler, and that ties us right into the investigation that Ryan Connor's doing. How you feel?
I'm all right.
You must be exhausted.
Yeah, I am. You know, when I saw Pete Parnell's car in that rearview mirror, I thought that it was just all over.
I don't know where you got that idea from. To hide under the underpass.
I saw it in a movie once.
You're trickier than I thought. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on you.
Right now, I don't feel very tricky.
Well, coming down the home stretch. Tomorrow night, this time, we're gonna be in Mexico.
Yeah.
You sure you want to go through with this?
Yeah, of course I do.
You're not gonna see your family and friends for a long time.
I guess you're going to be my family from now on, Joe.
You mean that?
It's true. You know, tomorrow I'm going to go out and buy a book on Spanish.
Spanish?
Yes, for Mexico. You know, I studied it in school, but I don't really remember more than 2 words.
My Spanish is pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of people spoke Spanish where I grew up. Te amo.
How did you know? Those are the 2 words I know.
I do, you know.
I love you too, Joe. More than I can say.
Tomorrow's our big day.
Yes, I am going to go see Ryan Connor first thing in the morning and set up a meeting for you.
Good. Once we do that, we're free.
So what do we do now, Jim?
Nothing much we can do until we find out where Joe Foster is. In the meantime, I think I better pay Ryan Connor a little visit first thing in the morning. Find out how that investigation of his is going.
Dennis told me last night about Ryan's tricking him, telling him he'd found Mr. Johnson when it wasn't true.
Well, even if Ryan had found Mr. Johnson, it wouldn't make much difference.
You're sure of that?
Absolutely. Johnson's statement is the truth. I'm convinced that Johnson will stand by it.
I certainly hope you're right.
Ryan is a desperate man now. I'm sure he's very worried.
Does T.J. Canfield's presence disturb you at all?
No. Not really.
You know, Stryker Bellman is famous for his legal maneuvering. Do you think there's any way he can delay the vote at the meeting today?
Not that I know of, Iris, but I've contacted one of my friends in the legal department. He's going to check it all out for me.
Well, I just hope that meeting doesn't end up dragging on for half the afternoon. I want to get it over with and get Ryan out of there.
I don't think it'll last long at all.
Ashley, are you going to the meeting?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to be acting secretary.
Good.
Well, I think I'd better get back to the office. Are you ready, Donnie?
Why don't you go ahead? I'll bring Ashley with me.
All right. I'll see you later. Iris?
Bye, sir.
Bye, Donnie.
Darling, are you upset about something?
Yes. T.J. Canfield.
Hi, TJ. Come on in.
I got a message that Vicky wanted to see me.
She should be down any minute.
Okay, good. Oh, listen, I want to thank you again for inviting me to the boathouse last night. Had a wonderful time.
Ryan and I enjoyed it, too. If you'll excuse me, though, I promised I'd go to the office to meet him,
Sure.
so Vicky should be down any second. Go
Okay.
ahead, make yourself at home.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good morning, TJ.
Hi, Vicky.
Have you talked to Stryker this morning?
Yes. Why?
Because he called here at 6 a.m. looking for you. He called the hotel and you weren't there.
Well, I spent the night with a friend. I left the number with a hotel operator, and I talked to Stryker. Everything's fine, so stop worrying.
4 years ago, you missed a very important meeting because you took off to Acapulco with one of your girlfriends.
I was tricked into believing that meeting had been canceled. Anyway, that was 4 years ago, and I haven't made that same mistake again.
I'm sorry, TJ, but I'm concerned about Ryan.
I know. I am too, and I'll do everything I can to help Ryan. Is that Rena?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. Hi, Elena.
I'm sorry I didn't call before I came by.
Well, that's all right. My secretary told me it was important.
It is important.
What is it?
I know that you worked very closely with Alex Wheeler before he died. And I read in the papers that he left you 1/3 of World Oil in his will.
Alex was my uncle.
I know. That's why I came to see you.
About what?
Alex Wheeler didn't die.
He was murdered. And I know who murdered him.
Why are you so concerned about T.J. Canfield?
Well, I knew him in school.
Did you?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I even went out with him once. And then he was dating a good friend of mine, so I got to see him a lot.
Does Justin know about this?
Oh, no. No, he knows that I knew him, but he doesn't know that I went out with him. But that's not the point.
What is the point?
Well, it's just that, I know a lot about TJ. He's charming. He's very clever. Mrs. Wheeler, I am really afraid that he's going to do something to hurt Justin in that board meeting today.
What could he possibly do?
I don't know. I just have a very strong feeling that he is up to something.
Justin seems to be very confident.
Oh, he is now. After I stayed up half the night trying to convince him that he had nothing to worry about.
I don't think he does. So just calm down.
Justin's whole future depends on this meeting today. And mine, too.
You and Justin have a wonderful future ahead of you.
If he becomes president of World Oil, and if I give him a son.
Well, I can do something about making him president, but the rest is up to you.
Yeah, I know.
Darling, something else is bothering you. What is it?
When was that portrait done?
About several years ago.
She's stunning.
Would you like some coffee, TJ?
No, thank you. Vicky, how long are you going to hold that mistake against me? Forever?
Of course not. And I'm sorry I mentioned it.
You know, I got that affiliate TV station for you. You ought to at least give me credit for that.
Oh, I do.
But you really won't learn to trust me until I have a house full of kids and dogs and a barbecue pit in the backyard, will you?
I take it that's not on your immediate agenda.
No, not this week.
All right, TJ. I promise you I will try not to mention it again.
Good. You know, Justin and Ashley were at the boathouse last night.
Yes, Jenny told me.
Did she also tell you that I went to school with Ashley?
Yes, she did. And she thinks you upset Justin by dancing with Ashley.
Good. That was my intention. I think the more we can keep Justin off guard, the better.
Tell me, TJ, do you really believe that you can convince the board members to delay their vote so Ryan has time to uncover his evidence?
Yes, I think there's a possibility. Especially if Iris Wheeler becomes emotional and starts accusing Ryan of murdering her husband.
Iris is a very cool lady, TJ.
So I understand. But if she's hell-bent on vengeance, and it looks like she might not get it, she might lose her cool pretty quickly. That's when we'll appeal to the board's common sense and fair play.
You're telling me that your friend has proof that Pete Parnell killed Alex, right?
Yes.
Then why don't you go to the police with this information?
Because I can't go to the police.
And you realize now that I have to go to the police, right?
No. No, you can't do that.
Elena, who's this friend of yours?
I can't tell you.
And why is it so important that I don't go to the police?
Look, you'll understand everything once we set up this meeting for this afternoon, but until then, you gotta promise me that you're not gonna tell anybody about this.
No, I can't promise that.
But you got to. Otherwise, I don't know if I can set things up.
Okay. Exactly what is it you're trying to arrange?
Well, my friend and I, we want to set up this meeting with Pete Parnell. You see, my friend has something that Mr. Parnell wants very badly.
I think I see.
Look, I'll call you this afternoon and I'll tell you exactly when and where this meeting is going to take place. And we're going to do it someplace out in the open so that Mr. Parnell can't do anything to us.
What role do you want me to play?
Well, we wanted you to come there early and hide someplace nearby. So you could see what's happening and you could be kind of like a witness. Well, you see, I bought this tape recorder, and my friend is going to try and get Mr. Parnell to talk about Alex Wheeler, and that way I could get everything on tape.
I don't like it. It sounds dangerous. If Parnell really did kill Alex, He's not the sort of person to fool around with, you understand?
I know, that's why we're setting up this meeting in a public place, so he can't do anything to us. Look, as long as he doesn't know that we're trapping him, we're safe.
Ruby says, as far as she knows, Billy Joe Wright hasn't heard from Elena since last night.
She's quite sure about that?
Well, she's going to check with him and she'll get back to us.
In the meantime, I better pay Ryan Connor a surprise visit. See if he's come up with any new information.
If you tell me what's bothering you, perhaps I can help.
Ooh, you're not gonna like it.
Try me.
I think that Ryan Connor is innocent.
Ashley.
Mrs. Wheeler, I'm sorry. I can't help the way I feel.
Ryan is not innocent. He killed Alex because he knew he was going to turn over World Oil to Dennis, and Ryan couldn't bear the thought of losing all that money and power. He's ruthless.
Mrs.
He'll stop
Wheeler,
at nothing.
Mrs. Wheeler.
Now, Alex knew that Ryan was misappropriating company funds. Justin has given me a statement from Mr. Johnson saying that Ryan killed the investigation and forced him to leave the company. Now, what more proof could you want? Well, Ashley, I know you love Justin.
Of course I do.
Well, then why are you in such conflict over Ryan? Darling, you should be supporting your husband.
I do support him.
Oh, not wholeheartedly.
Of course I do.
No, not if you have reservations about Ryan.
I just don't think he's capable of doing those things.
Ah, darling. All of us are capable of doing those things. All of us.
Ryan?
Oh, hello, Grant.
Well, I talked with Dennis this morning. I tried to convince him to support you, but he will not change his mind.
Thanks for trying.
Suppose we tell Iris our theory about Parnell killing Al.
No.
Now, wait a minute. If she knows that he's been misappropriating company funds, and if she knows that there's a possibility that he might have been with Alex at the time of his first stroke, I'm sure that she would agree that he's the logical suspect.
Grant, I think I found a way to get enough evidence to nail Parnell.
How?
I got a phone call this morning. Now, someone's going to arrange a meeting with Parnell, try to get him to talk about Alex's death.
Who?
I can't tell you.
Was it the private investigator?
No.
Well, then who was it? Come on, man, who was it?
I'm sorry, Grant, I cannot tell you.
Now, Ryan, you and I have been exchanging information all along.
Look, this has nothing to do with trust. Now, I made a promise. If I don't keep it, I'm not going to get the information. It's as simple as that.
When is this meeting going to take place?
It's being set up now. I'm not sure how soon. Look, do you think you can find a way to delay Iris's arrival at the board meeting?
I don't know. I can try, but I can't promise anything. She's rarely late anywhere, and I'm sure this is one meeting where she's going to want to be on time.
Well, try your best, all right?
Of course I will.
Hey, Grant. It's just a meeting, so don't worry, okay?
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Hi, Grant.
Jenny?
Hi, honey.
Hi.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Everything's fine.
Did you talk to Ryan Connor?
Yes, he agreed to the meeting.
You sure you can trust this guy?
Well, he promised he wouldn't say anything. He wanted to go to the police, but I convinced him that he couldn't.
I don't like it, Elena. It makes me nervous.
What makes you nervous?
For all we know, this guy could be in cahoots with Parnell.
No, I don't think so.
But you can't be sure.
Well, look, we have no choice, Joe. We gotta trust him.
Elena, you're the only person I trust right now.
Well, then trust me. It's all gonna work out all right.
I trust you. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to have one moment's worth of peace until we get across that border into Mexico.
Oh, wait, did you call your friends and make those arrangements?
Yes, I did. Did you deposit that check?
Yes.
Okay, because we're going to need that money once we turn in that drug money.
I think we should call Parnell right now. You want me to do it?
No. I will.
Well, hello, Counselor.
Hey, Justin.
Are you preparing your defense for Mr. Connor?
No, just finishing up some paperwork on a deal I put together in Cairo.
Well, you do get around, don't you?
As I recall, you used to do a little traveling yourself. I saw you race in Italy once.
Did I win?
As a matter of fact, I think you did.
Good. My racing days are over now, though.
Oh, I don't know. You might want to take it up again after today's meeting.
I doubt it.
Will Ashley be here? Someone said she might be taking the minutes.
Yes, she's going to be here with Iris Wheeler. They're good friends.
I'm looking forward to meeting the legendary Mrs. Wheeler.
Well, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I knew Alex Wheeler fairly well. She must be some kind of lady if he married her.
She is.
And you must be some kind of con artist. Well, that was no mean feat, getting Iris Wheeler to support your bid for the presidency.
My being president is entirely her idea.
I know what you're up to, Justin. You played on her grief, then coerced old man Johnson into giving you some false statement about Ryan Connor's supposed misappropriation of world oil funds.
If you can prove that, you'd be my guest. But I advise you not to mention that to the other board members. They tend to deal in facts and figures, not emotional outbursts.
Well, thank you. I'll remember that.
You don't want to tell me what Grant was so upset about.
Well, he's upset about not getting any evidence in time for the meeting today. Hello? Look, could you call me back tomorrow? Thank you.
Honey, Becky's sitting right out there. Why don't you let her answer your calls for you?
I'm expecting an important call.
From the private investigator?
Yeah.
You know, TJ came by Vicky's house this morning. He seemed like he was very optimistic.
Well, I'm optimistic, too.
Are you really?
Yeah, I really am. Glad you came by today. Sure missed you.
I missed you. I love you.
I love you. I tell you what. Since Rena is going to be our maid of honor, why don't you call her in Venezuela tonight, have her come right back up here to Houston, and we'll have ourselves a wedding.
Oh, all right, I'll do that. It's going to be kind of sad, though, having a wedding without Max there.
Yeah, it sure is. But we have to get on with our lives, right? So Max wouldn't want it any other way, I don't think.
No, you're right. Just that it's so hard sometimes.
Just wish Rena would pick up the pieces and be able to start her life again without Max. She's got this obsession about getting revenge on Justin. I wish she'd just forget it. It's going to destroy her.
Well, Rena's convinced that Justin destroyed Max. You know the way she is when she gets an idea in her head. It's almost impossible to talk her out of it.
Well, when I clear myself and get Justin out of World Oil, maybe then she'll be satisfied.
I hope so.
Wait, what are you going to tell Mr. Parnell?
Well, I'm going to tell him we're willing to make a deal. We'll give him the money back if he helps us get away. Provides us with, say, tickets, passports, whatever. That way he won't think there's anything wrong.
You think it'll work?
Yeah. He'll think it's a fair exchange. He gets something, we get something.
I'm not convinced he's going to go for it, Joe.
Yeah, you're forgetting something, though.
What?
We both know he killed Alex Wheeler. And he's got to want us out of the country as much as we want to go.
All right, when are you going to set up this meeting for?
3 hours? That gives us enough time to call Ryan Connor, tell him that Parnell swallowed the bait.
But isn't that making it late?
No, we can use the time. We got to finish packing. We got to be ready to leave town as soon as we hand that tape over to Connor.
Where are you going to tell Parnell to meet us?
The zoo. I figure a place like that, Parnell won't even think of trying something.
Yeah, but aren't you taking a chance? What happens if somebody recognizes you there?
It's just a risk I'm going to have to take. Besides, we'll be there around closing time, so I don't think there'll be too many people there.
I hope you're right.
Okay. Where's Parnell's number?
Ryan, you're not going to jail.
Grant thinks Mr. Johnson will tell someone you're innocent.
Yeah, he's willing to tell Iris, and what good's that going to do me?
Iris wouldn't cover that up.
Come on, you really think Iris is going to tell anyone? There's not a chance.
The private investigator will find him and tell you and Grant and anyone else who wants to know, including Iris.
Jenny.
I'm going to marry you no matter what happens. So why not tomorrow?
I want our wedding to be a happy occasion. And I want to take you on a honeymoon that you can enjoy. I just don't want us worrying about whether or not I'm going to be going to prison.
Stop saying that.
And what about Steve? He's had a hard enough time accepting our marriage.
Steve's accepting our marriage, honey.
Well, I want to wait.
Okay. Well, wait.
Three weeks.
3 weeks?
Mm-hmm. That's all I'll wait, 3 weeks. I'm gonna start making plans tomorrow.
You just don't give up now, do you?
Not when anything's this important. Will you marry me in 3 weeks?
Yes.
At the ranch?
Fine.
And we can buy our rings tomorrow?
1 o'clock.
It's a date. Oh, honey. Everything's gonna be just fine.
You really believe that, don't you?
Yes, I do. I lost you once, and I'm not going to let that happen again. Not to anyone or anything. I want us to spend the rest of our lives together. Have children and grandchildren.
Oh, I want that more than anything in the world. You know that.
We'll have it.
I love you so much.
Come on in, Becky.
It's not Becky.
Hi.
I was looking for Ryan Connor.
He's in a meeting right now.
You, aren't his secretary, are you?
No, I'm his fiancée. I'm Ginny Marshall.
Well, Ryan's certainly a very lucky man. It's a great pleasure to meet you. I'm Jim Lawrence.
Hi.
What time do you expect him back?
Well, he should be out of his meeting shortly. If, his secretary, Becky, is out there, maybe she can help you.
No, thank you. I have to speak to Ryan personally.
So, I'll meet you in front of the Panther cage at 4:45. Got that? I'll have the money. You have the passport and the tickets.
I'm not sure I can come up with passports that quickly.
Oh, you'll come up with them. And remember, no funny stuff. I don't want to have any surprises.
Such as?
Such as bringing a gun with you, Parnell. We're going to be out in the open where everyone can see us.
I'll keep that in mind.
You do that. Then everything's going to work out just fine. You'll have the money. We'll have our freedom. Is it a deal?
Sure.
Good. 4:45 in front of the Panther cage. Don't be late.
Did he agree?
Yep.
All right, we've got to call Ryan Connor right now.
Yeah, I know. But hold a minute. I got to figure something out. Okay, there's a refreshment stand that's right across from the Panther cage. Ryan Connor can watch us from there.
But what happens if Mr. Parnell recognizes him?
He won't. He's going to be too busy getting the money from us. Then I'm going to get Parnell to talk about Alex Wheeler.
How are you going to do that?
I don't know, but I'm going to do it. Then you make the tape recording of it. When Parnell goes, we give the tape to Ryan Connor.
Joe, he's going to recognize you.
Yeah, and he's going to call the police. That's why we got to have the car ready, and we got to get on our way before Connor gets to a phone.
And what about Mr. Parnell? You think he suspects anything?
No, he was too concerned about getting those passports on time. He knows I'm not going to go to the cops. It's too dangerous. I'd just be turning myself in.
All right, I'm going to call Ryan Connor right now, and I'm going to tell him where Mr. Parnell is going to meet us.
Why don't you wait for Ryan's secretary to come back, and then she can make an appointment for you?
All right, I'll do that. Are you Mike Marshall's daughter?
No, I was Barrett Marshall's wife.
Oh, I see. I knew Mike Marshall very well. He was a fine man, one of the best.
Yes, he was. Oh, excuse me. Ryan Connor's office.
Hi, could I please speak to Mr. Connor?
Gee, I'm sorry he's not in right now. Could I take a message?
No. Do you know when he'll be back?
Oh, I'm really not sure. He's in a meeting.
Well, couldn't you just get him out of his meeting?
I don't think so. His secretary should be back in a Elena? Is that you? This is Ginny. Elena? Hello?
T.J. Canfield, this is Dennis Carrington.
What are you doing here?
I'm voting Stryker Bellman's proxy.
You work for Stryker?
Yes, I do.
Excuse me.
Jay?
Did you know this guy was going to be here?
Yes, but he's not going to foul anything up. Don't worry about it.
Look, Ryan hasn't found Johnson, has he?
I very much doubt it.
I don't want any surprises.
I'm not expecting any.
Good. Let's hope you're right. Because if there are any surprises...
You're very nervous, aren't you? Would you mind telling me what your stake is in all of this?
I told you yesterday. It's personal.
Okay. Okay, I just don't want you pulling the rug out from under me. I want this job, Dennis. I want the presidency of the company.
I don't care about the company. Therefore, I don't give a damn about your job. You're welcome to it.
Howdy.
T.J., may I introduce you to Iris Wheeler?
Hello.
Mr. Canfield, I've heard a good deal about you.
All good, I hope.
For the most part. You didn't bother to tell me how attractive Mr. Canfield is. No wonder poor Dustin was so upset last night.
He's also a charmer. Be careful.
Don't worry, I will be.
Did you send out invitations to the party?
I promised you, didn't I? I'm planning to do it right after this meeting.
Good, make sure you do. I expect you to keep your end of the bargain.
Alex, I'm going to have information this afternoon or tonight that'll prove I didn't kill Alex. Now, it's terribly important for all of us if you can find some way to delay the vote until next week.
I don't believe a word you say.
Well, I'm telling you the truth.
Why don't you just go round up the other board members so we can get on with this meeting?
I'm telling you the
Dennis,
truth.
Darling, would you go outside and tell those other people to come in here? But what are you doing here?
Were you cut off?
Yes. I'm afraid it was probably my fault. I'm not very good with those phones.
It happens sometimes. I'm sorry. It sounded like a friend of yours.
Yes. Elena Decker.
Elena Decker. Wasn't her brother killed in an oil well explosion just recently?
Yes, he was.
A terrible tragedy.
Yes.
Well, I suppose I better get going. I'll call Becky and set up an appointment with Ryan.
Okay.
Oh. I sure wish Ryan and you all the best.
Thank you.
Who answered the phone?
Ginny Marshall. She's the woman that Ryan Connor's going to marry.
What did she say when Ryan was going to get back in the office?
No, she didn't. I suppose I should have asked her, but I was afraid she'd recognize who it was on the phone.
That's all right, Elena. Don't worry. Look, what we should be doing now is finishing that packing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
We'll check back with Connor a little later, okay?
What happens if we don't reach him before we're supposed to meet Mr. Parnell?
Don't worry. We will.
I'm sorry, Rena. You are not on the board. You are not voting Stryker's proxy, and I want you out of this room.
Not a chance. I'm staying, Iris.
No, you're not.
I will not let Ryan be railroaded out of a job just because Justin Marshall is being allowed to frame him.
We're not going to let that happen. No one is going to railroad Ryan.
Who are you?
T.J. Canfield. I have your daddy's proxy.
Then you give me that proxy and I'll vote.
That wouldn't be legal, Rena. Come on, you know that.
Get her out of here, Mr. Canfield. I want this meeting to start.
She's right. You don't belong here. I want you to leave.
Are you going to tell all these people what Justin has done to Ryan? Are you?
No, I'm not.
I didn't think so. In that case, I will.
Rena.
Hello, Rena. Since you're obviously here to accuse me of all manner of misdeeds, you should have a chance to speak.
Thank you.
Rena, don't.
Oh, I've already checked it out with Iris and Dennis. They're in full agreement. They think you should have a chance to speak.
You're not going to speak. You're going to leave.
Get your hands off me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all know Rena Decker. She has come here to say a few words on behalf of Ryan Connor.
Rena, please, Rena. TJ and your father have worked out a plan that's going to fall apart if you start making any speeches.
Ryan, someone has got to defend you.
I know, I appreciate what you try to do, but please, let me and TJ handle this. Now, I want you to go back to my office. Ginny's there. Just calm down and have a drink with her and leave the meeting to me, all right?
Is that what you want?
Absolutely.
Well, I can see that Ryan has talked her out of speaking. Well, I can tell you what it was she was going to say.
Come on, Justin, let's get on with the meeting.
She was going to accuse me of framing Ryan, blaming him for the misappropriation of funds here at World Oil, because I wanted his job, because I wanted to take over the company.
I said let's get on with the meeting, Justin.
I can only tell you, gentlemen, that all of this, it's untrue. She also wanted to accuse me of being responsible for her husband's death. This is also untrue. Max Decker accused me of slant drilling on his property. World Oil did a directional survey which proved that he was wrong about that. But Max Decker couldn't accept the word of World Oil. No, he had to take it into his own hands and blow up the well. An action which cost this company thousands of dollars. And also, very unfortunately, cost Max Decker his life. I have a copy of the directional survey and also a signed statement from a former employee of World Oil which backs up my statement 100%.
Too bad, Alex. Too bad you know so much about our little drug operation. Such a danger. I just can't trust the chance that you might remember. You'll understand, won't you? You won't even know what happened. You'll just go right on sleeping. For a long, long time.
Well, I'm glad to see you're back. I was afraid I was going to have to leave before you got here.
Leave for what?
Joe Foster called while you were out. He wants to give the money back.
What are you talking about, Peter?
Foster wants to make a deal.
What kind of deal?
Well, he returns the money, and I supply him and Elena Decker with phony passports, money, airline tickets to Rio.
Where is this exchange supposed to take place?
Zoo, about a mile from here.
When?
3 or 4 hours. But I'm going to try and get there a little early and do a little scouting around.
Why the zoo?
Well, I guess Foster figured it'd be a safe place.
Safe for who?
For Joe. Figures I guess I wouldn't try anything in a place like that. But I got a little surprise for him. I'm going to try and work out which direction they'd be coming from. Maybe that way I can take care of them before they even get to the meeting place.
In other words, you're planning to double-cross them?
You bet I am. What? You have any scruples about that?
No, none at all. Especially since that's exactly what they're planning to do to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I call this meeting to order. We have heard some very serious charges against Ryan Connor, president of World Oil. Charges which we will now recap. In summary, Ryan Connor has been accused of misappropriation of funds from World Oil and of subsequently using his position as president to kill the resulting inquiry. He is also accused of forcing Mr. Johnson from accounting to resign his position and leave the company without due cause, in order to prevent Mr. Johnson from revealing his knowledge of the cover-up of the misappropriation of funds. Do I hear a motion to dismiss Ryan Connor as president of this company for cause?
I move that Ryan Connor be dismissed from the position of president of this company for cause.
Thank you, Mrs. Wheeler. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. We will now take a vote. All those in favor?
Came for the board meeting.
You came all the way from Venezuela to this board meeting?
Yes, for all the good it did.
Did Stryker come with you?
No, I wrote him a note and I told him I was chartering a plane to Houston this morning so I could support Ryan. And then they didn't even allow me in the meeting. They kicked me out.
All right, calm down. Justin kick you out?
No, it was Ryan and that TJ. They asked me to leave the meeting. Jenny, I wanted to tell all those people exactly what Justin was doing to Ryan. They wouldn't let me.
Ryan and TJ stopped you?
Yes.
Well, honey, I'm sure they must have had a good reason.
I'd like to hear that one. Because I didn't see anybody else in that meeting defending Ryan.
Well, I'm sure that TJ and Ryan had probably worked out some kind of plan with your father to fix... Ryan, honey, what happened?
Well, they voted me out of office and they voted Justin in. So Justin's the new president of World Oil.
Thanks to you.
What are you talking about?
Oh, doesn't matter now.
The hell it doesn't. He just accused me of making you lose your presidency.
Come on, that's not true.
We had a terrific plan to get the board to hold off voting. We were going to use reason, fairness, cool heads. We had hoped to keep Justin from explaining his side of the story, but your little emotional outburst gave him just the opportunity he needed. Brother, did he take advantage of it? He was so convincing that by the time he was finished, those board members felt so sorry for him, they'd have voted him governor of Texas.
Hey, TJ, come off it. The whole thing would have happened anyway. All we had was a long shot, right?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I was just trying to help.
Sure, it's okay.
Your daddy should have kept you in Venezuela with him.
Okay, TJ, that's enough.
I'm going home.
Rena, wait a minute.
The zoo? Yeah, I'll be there.
You sure it was Elena Decker who called Ryan Connor?
Well, that's what Jenny Marshall said. She answered the phone.
So, they were planning to set a little trap for me, were they?
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Well, looks like we're going to have to set a little trap of our own.
Rena, your father is worried sick about you.
He should be worried about that idiot he's hired to work for him.
What are you talking about?
Mama, don't answer it.
Why not?
Just don't!
Rena, what is going on?
Nothing. Now let's go out on the patio.
Rena,
Mama, don't open that door!
What, TJ, what are you doing here?
Now, I want you to go to Bellman's, and I'll meet you there later, all right?
I'd rather stay here with you.
Well, I have work to do here. I've got to clean out my desk and all that stuff.
Why don't you let me help you?
Becky will help me.
This whole thing seems so unfair, Ryan.
Hey, I don't want you upset now. We're going to work everything out, I promise.
Just so angry about that board meeting and
I'm
Justin
angry
and
too,
Iris.
but I'm innocent. I'm going to prove it, and then I'm going to get another job. How about that?
Grant thought it was best for you to stay here so you have access to information and files. And now that Justin's president, he won't even let you get close to
Ginny,
any of
it
that.
doesn't matter.
But it does matter.
No. Because I think I found a way to prove my innocence.
Joe, I parked the car right at the front gate so we can get away faster.
Good.
What's wrong?
Well, I'm just thinking that it might end up like that if anything goes wrong today.
Joe, nothing is going to go wrong today.
TJ, what are you doing here?
He followed me home. He's going to accuse me of making Ryan lose his job.
If you'd stayed in Venezuela where you belong...
Don't you dare tell me where I belong.
All right, that's enough.
And don't you tell me what's enough. I just want you to get this idiot out of this house.
Rena, will you please calm down and tell me what this is all about?
I am not going to stay in the same room with that man.
Look, I'm sorry I lost my temper, okay?
No! No, it's not okay.
Look, I know you were just trying to help Ryan, and it's possible our strategy wouldn't have worked anyway, so it was unfair of me to put the blame on you.
Oh, well, now, isn't that big of you? First you make me feel terrible in front of Ginny and Ryan, then you follow me home, and now you're trying to...
Look, and I said I was sorry. What the hell else do you want me to do?
I want you out of here.
Rena, come back here.
I'm going to take a bath and change
You
my
have
clothes.
some explaining to do.
Mama, I am very tired.
I know you are, but I want some answers. Now. Why did you charter a plane and come back to Houston?
I was trying to help Ryan.
Your father thought TJ could help Ryan. That's why he brought TJ back here. Didn't Stryker tell you that?
Yes, he did.
And still you chartered a plane.
Mama, what would you have done? Ginny and Ryan are my friends. Justin's getting away with murder. He's framed Ryan.
Ryan will find a way to clear himself.
Oh, people have been saying that for weeks, and look what happened. The board voted Ryan out of office. They believe Justin.
Grant and TJ and your father will continue to help Ryan.
And what about Max? It's too late for Max. Justin slant drilled our property. He killed my husband, and now he's been made president of World Oil. Oh, Mama, don't you dare tell me that's fair.
No, it's not fair. But it's not fair to take your anger out on TJ either.
Iris is the one who should be blamed for Ryan losing his job.
Rena, please don't get started on Iris.
She's the one who believes that Ryan is responsible for Alex's death. She's the one.
Rena.
I'm sorry.
TJ is the one you should apologize to.
Why don't you apologize to him for me?
I think you should do that yourself.
You tell him, Mama, okay?
Rena.
I'm going upstairs and I am changing my clothes.
Thank you, Stryker. I appreciate the offer. Listen, I'm going to talk to Ginny, then I'll get back to you. All right, I understand. Thanks again. Well, Stryker just offered me a partnership in his law firm.
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, I do. I'm just not sure I can right now.
Why?
Look, I was voted out of office because everybody thinks I misappropriated the company funds. That's why.
Honey, everyone does not believe that.
I know. I just don't want to embarrass Stryker and his associates.
Well, obviously, Stryker's not embarrassed if he offered you a partnership.
Yeah, he's convinced this whole thing's just going to blow over, that it won't damage my reputation.
He's right.
Well, I'm not so sure.
Ryan, you're innocent. And eventually you'll be able to prove that.
Until I can, I'm just not going to take him up on his offer. Can you live with that?
Whatever you decide will be fine with me. I have an idea.
What's that?
Let's get married tomorrow. And we'll go on a nice long honeymoon.
Oh, I wish I could, but I can't go anywhere right now until I clear my name.
We're getting married next week.
Hey, I'm not trying to back out on a wedding. I want to get married just as much as you do. But right now, I cannot leave Houston until I clear my name. You know what? That just might happen sooner than anyone expects.
How?
Never mind.
Ryan, what are you up to?
Oh, nothing. I'm just rolling around a few ideas in my head.
Well, then tell me about them.
I can't, Jenny. Not now, okay?
Just promise me you won't do anything foolish, please.
I promise you that I won't make the same mistake that Max did, if that's what you're worried about.
It is.
Okay, now stop worrying. Now I want you to go over and help Rena. You seem to be the only person that can calm her down lately.
Are you sure you're going to be all right?
I'm positive.
How long before Ryan Connor gets here?
Half hour.
Well, what if he's late?
He won't be.
Yeah, but if he is, Joey's going to miss everything. Wait a minute, what happens if Parnell has a gun?
He has a gun. It won't do him any good out here in the open.
Hello.
Jim?
Yeah.
I'm at the zoo. I've changed the location where I'm meeting Foster. The trap is set.
That took long enough. Was that Caleb on the phone?
No, it was Mr. Walker from the bank. I didn't get the job.
I'm so sorry, Lurleen.
Mr. Walker said I didn't have any experience. It's true, Miss Kate. I haven't ever worked in a bank.
But you were an honor student in college. You've got good common sense, Lurleen. And you learn quickly, too.
Yes, ma'am, but the girl he hired had 4 years of experience.
There'll be other jobs.
I know, I just have to find one.
Well, try not to be too disappointed.
I was really counting on it, Miss Kate.
So was I. Well, it's Elroy's loss. These things always turn out for the best.
I guess my problems seem pretty unimportant compared to Mr. Connor's. That was a terrible thing, his getting kicked out of his job like that.
Well, Lurleen, you and Ryan Connor will just have to find another job. I'm sure he'll clear his name. I really am sure of it.
I can't believe that Justin accused Mr. Connor of doing something he didn't do.
Well, that's just the kind of man that Justin is.
You still love him, don't you? In spite of everything he's done.
He's my grandson, Lurleen. I do love him. But I certainly don't approve of his behavior. All I can do, though, is just to be patient and pray that he'll change his ways.
You think that's possible, Miss Kate?
Well, with the Lord's help, anything is possible, Lurleen. How's your grandfather today?
He's okay. Harley over at the sheriff's office is trying to talk him into joining one of those alcoholic programs.
Well, I've heard that those groups have helped a lot of people.
I know. The only trouble is I don't think my granddaddy wants to be helped.
Well, Harley can be pretty persuasive.
I hope so. You know, Miss Kate, I think it's time that I move back over to my granddaddy's place.
Oh, no, you don't. I won't allow it. Not yet. Besides, Ginny and Ryan are going to be married next week, and you promised to help with the wedding.
Oh, no, Stryker, there's no need for that. You stay on in Caracas and you finish up your business. I think I can deal with Rena. All right? Okay, honey. I'll talk to you tonight. Bye-bye. TJ.
I've got to call Stryker. Tell him what happened at the board
No,
meeting.
I just spoke to him, and he's on his way out of the office. But he asked me to tell you to call him in an hour. He'll be at Delgado's.
Okay, thanks.
Tell me, TJ, is Rena really responsible for getting Ryan voted out of office?
Well, let me put it this way. Her presence at the meeting certainly didn't help.
What happened?
Ryan and I wanted to create an atmosphere of calm and reason. We were going to tell the board that the charges against Ryan were absolutely false and that he intended to prove it. We were going to ask for a little bit of time so that we could put all the facts together in one cohesive report. And we were going to shoot holes in Justin's statement from Mr. Johnson and demand proof that Ryan had misused the funds.
And before you had a chance to begin, Rena came storming in?
Yeah. She forced herself into the meeting and tried to tell everyone what a crook Justin is. And, of course, that gave him the perfect opportunity to explain his side of the story first. From then on, it was all downhill.
What if Rena hadn't shown up?
I don't know. Ryan and I knew that 4 of the other 6 board members were on Justin's side before the meeting ever started. So I don't know what would have happened after that. We'd hoped that we could talk Wilson and Price into changing their mind. But now...
You did your best.
Maybe not. Now, maybe I should have just spent a little bit more time with Wilson and Price before the meeting. Maybe I could have changed their mind. Maybe I just blew it. Maybe that's why I was so quick to blame Rena.
Jenny, Ryan.
Hi, Brad.
I heard the news.
Aha. Bad news travels fast, doesn't it?
Well, I had hoped to distract Iris, delay her getting to the meeting. But that didn't work. She was out of the house by the time I got there.
Well, thank you for trying.
I gather that your meeting is not set up yet.
Well, not yet. It's supposed to be around 4:45.
What meeting?
Well, it's with someone who may have evidence to prove my innocence.
Who?
Can't tell you.
Ryan, we promised we wouldn't keep secrets from each
Now,
other.
this isn't any secret. Believe me, once the meeting's over, I'll tell you all about it.
I want to know about it now.
Honey, I've told you everything I can.
Grant?
No, don't look at me. I don't know any more than you do.
Look, maybe nothing will come of it, so let's not get our hopes up, all right? Now, I want you to go to the Bellmans, and I'll meet you there at 6.
I understand that Rena's back in town.
Oh, yeah. She chartered a plane so she'd get to the board meeting on time.
Well, I'm surprised that Stryker allowed that.
Stryker had nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, he gave his pilot instructions not to take her out of the country. That's why she chartered her plane and not theirs.
She should have stayed in Venezuela.
She did it because she was trying to help. It wasn't her fault that they voted against Ryan. It was Iris's fault and Justin.
Hey, come on. We're not blaming Rena.
Well, TJ did, and now Grant just did.
Well, I know she was trying to help, but her impulsiveness just got in the way.
Well, at least she cared enough to make an effort.
She shouldn't have gone.
I'll see you at 6. I'm sorry.
I'll never forgive you. Now, I want to go to that meeting with you.
No, you can't. I promise I go alone. If I don't, I won't get the information.
Are you sure about that?
It's the only way.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Good luck.
Thanks.
Is my mother here yet?
Yeah, she's out and back. Make yourself to home.
Vivian, was that somebody? Hello, Mom.
Hello, dear.
I just came by to help with your plans for my little party.
What party?
Vivi, why don't you finish checking the delivery from the wine shop? I do want to make certain the vintages are correct before we put them
Wheeler,
down.
if we're going to have a party, don't you think I should be in on the plans?
Of course.
Well, what's it going to be?
I'll let you know when we need your help.
Okay. And I'll do the wine.
We had a deal. I kept my part of the bargain. I supported you and Justin at the board meeting. And now I think it's time that you help me by throwing the little party for Paige.
Oh, Dennis, it's so distasteful.
Damn it, we had a deal.
There is no need to shout at me.
You know how important this is to me?
I know how important you think it is. But frankly, my dear, you are mistaken.
Yeah, well, I don't want your advice. I want your help.
Oh, Dennis, showing that disgusting film to all of our friends.
Friends? This isn't just for friends. You think this is some kind of family affair? I want to invite every VIP in the state of Texas.
Well, Dennis, I doubt that we can expect perfect strangers to attend.
Of course we can. This is Texas. Texans love parties. The bigger and fancier, the better. Now, Alex has a lot of connections here. Get out your list, invite them all. They'll love it. I think we should have the party next week, don't
You're
you?
being ridiculous. I cannot possibly have that kind of a party in a week.
Oh.
There's simply not enough time.
All right, then we'll just limit it to the city of Houston. How's that?
I'll see what I can put together.
Good. And don't worry about the entertainment. I'll take care of that. I'll start work on getting hold of the film right away. The
Dennis.
bargain was, you take care of the party, and I take care of the rest.
Miss Kate, is Ginny really upset about Ryan?
Yes, she is.
She's been so good and so helpful to me. I wish there was something I could do for her now.
Well, why don't you just call her on the phone? Tell her you're thinking about her.
Oh, I couldn't impose.
Oh, no, I'm sure she'd appreciate hearing from you, Lurleen.
Okay, if you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, then.
What's up with young? You know dance. Hey, Grandma. Grandma, you heard the good news? Your little Justin is the new president of World Oil.
Yes, I know.
Grandma, aren't you going to congratulate me, darling?
No, I'm not.
How you doing, Miss Marshall? How you, Lurleen?
Oh, I'm fine, except I have a telephone call to make.
Lurleen, you like champagne?
Well, I might. I never had any.
Well, I hope you'll join us for the celebration.
Well, maybe later, thank you.
Sure. Grandma, I hope you're not trying to turn Lurleen against me.
She's old enough and smart enough to make up her own mind about people.
Well, she said at the breakfast table this morning she applied for a job at the Marshall Village Bank.
Yes, she did. But Elroy Walker hired somebody else.
No.
Well, Grandma, I control a whole company now. I'll give Lurleen a job. Come on, Houston, Paris, Rome, London, anywhere she wants. You like that?
That's up to Lurleen.
All right, I'll just talk to Lurleen about it. Mrs. Marshall, if you'll do me the honor of just staying here till I get a couple glasses. And we'll have a bottle of the best. Excuse me.
I suppose you're proud of Justin.
Oh, I'm happy for you.
And for yourself.
You know, we're awful early, Joe. What are we supposed to do until they get here?
Wait.
Rena asked me to apologize for her behavior. She realizes it was very unfair to take her anger out on you.
Well, I certainly provoked it.
Maybe you can straighten it out with her later.
And Stryker told me about Max. She must have loved him very much.
She did. And she was so in hope of being able to keep their love alive by having his baby.
Stryker told me that she really went to pieces when she found out she wasn't pregnant.
Uh-huh. It's going to take a long time for her to adjust to losing Max.
Even so, this obsession about Justin.
Oh, I know. We've done everything we can to discourage it. We've tried to convince her that destroying Justin isn't going to give her any real satisfaction, but...
She doesn't believe you, does she?
Not now.
She certainly has a mind of her own.
Oh, yes. Perhaps if Ryan can clear himself and expose Justin's tactics for what they really are, maybe then she'll calm down. But until that happens...
Well, I'll do everything I can to help Ryan. Right now, all the cards are stacked up against him.
Yes, I know.
Can I make myself a drink?
Oh, of course, TJ.
Can I get you one?
No, thanks.
Vicky, how well do you know Iris Wheeler?
Oh, actually, Rena knows her better than anyone else. They used to be very good friends.
Until Iris accused Ryan of being responsible for Alex's death.
And Iris joined forces with Justin.
Never seen such a bitter woman. I hope Rena doesn't turn out to be an Iris Wheeler.
Oh, that won't happen, TJ. I simply won't allow it.
I see signs of it now.
No, there's a very big difference. Justin, in a way, is responsible for Max's death. Indirectly, but responsible nonetheless. So, some of Rena's anger is justified, but Iris, on the other hand, is acting irrationally. She needed a scapegoat to blame for her loss, and so she chose Ryan. And then Justin came along and fed that anger and bitterness for his own personal gain. It's funny. It always comes back to Justin.
I think I'll have a talk with Iris Wheeler.
I don't think it'll do any good, but you can try.
I'll call Stryker first.
Rena, where are you going?
Out.
Out where?
I'm going to talk some sense into Iris.
Uh-oh. What's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
You're pacing. Something's wrong when you're pacing.
Baby.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler, what have you done now?
I couldn't get out of it.
Out of what?
Oh, Vivi. I'm afraid we're in big trouble.
We? What kind of trouble?
I can't tell you.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler, that's not fair. If I'm in trouble, you gotta let me know.
I've made a very foolish bargain with Dennis.
Well, if it was so foolish, why'd you make it?
Because I needed his support at the board meeting.
To kick Ryan Connor out of World Oil?
Yes.
Well, what did you promise Dennis in return?
I have to give a party.
Party? Well, what's so terrible about a party? You love parties.
I won't enjoy this one.
Will I enjoy it?
No.
Then leave me out of it.
Vivian, you cannot desert me now.
Now, Mrs. Wheeler, what's the purpose behind this party you and I will not enjoy?
It's to embarrass Paige.
Why? I thought Dennis was going to divorce her.
He is, but he wants to teach her a lesson.
What kind of a lesson?
It doesn't matter.
Well, anyway, you think this lesson is going to be a disaster?
Oh, I know it is.
Well, get out of it.
I don't know how.
Oh, Mrs. Wheeler. You'll think of something. You always do.
Oh.
Where's Mr. Connor going to be hiding this meeting?
Snack bar over there.
You think he's going to recognize you?
It's possible.
What happens if he decides to turn you in right away?
If he does that, he loses Parnell. Now, sweetheart, don't go having doubts on me now.
I'm sorry.
How'd you get all that money in this little case?
I had to sit on it to get the lock closed.
Got the tape recorder?
Yeah, it's in my purse.
Let's check it.
I checked it.
Let's check it again. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're ready. Hello?
Hello, Vivian. Will you please tell Iris that I'd like to see her?
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Oh, yes, I'm quite sure.
Okay.
Look out the doorbell.
Tell her not here.
Hello, Rena. Have you come to apologize for disrupting the board meeting?
Absolutely not. But I am going to try to show you one more time just how crazy you're acting.
I'm acting crazy. I believe you're the one who managed all the histrionics at the meeting today.
You were so wrong about Ryan. Why can't you see that, Iris? Why are you determined to make his life a hell?
You're wasting your sympathy on Ryan. He's embezzled millions. He's in very good shape, financially. Of course, he may have to leave Houston once the word about him gets around.
And Justin will see to that, won't he?
Oh, I'm certain the media will want to report the selection of our new president.
I'm almost ashamed to say this, but you really are proud of yourself.
I'm happy that the company will finally be run the way Alex wanted it run. And yes, I'm happy that Ryan is finally receiving some of the punishment he deserves.
Ryan isn't guilty of anything. The only mistake he made was getting in your way, honey, and having the job that Justin wanted.
Look, I have told you before. If Ryan is innocent, all he has to do is prove it, and I will be happy to apologize.
Don't you realize that the damage is already done? Tell me, Iris, how do you apologize for destroying a man's reputation?
You run after all the boys, that's why.
What have you two girls been up to?
Running all over the place, mostly down by the stable.
Steve insisted on showing us that new filly that Guy brought in.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Oh, yes, she is. She's a lovely animal.
Steve said he named her Lone Star because of the big white blaze she has in the middle of her forehead.
Yes, I know. Steve can't stand for an animal not to be christened properly.
Oh, he said he was going to go over to Buddy's, but that he'd be home for supper.
Oh, thank you, Lily.
Where's Justin?
He's in the study. He's talking to the contractor about the renovations and adding heaven knows what.
Mrs. Marshall, there's not going to be one change in this house that you don't approve. Justin promised me that.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate your concern. But I know Justin well enough to know he'll do exactly as he pleases.
Not about this house, he won't.
If you'll excuse me, I have some letters I should write.
Go right ahead.
She's a good girl. She's interesting, too.
Yes, she is.
Has Bubba Wadsworth bothered her again?
No. No, I think I took care of that once and for all.
I bet you did. I sure hope so. I told Justin I wanted him to get rid of him.
Well, don't hold your breath. Justin's the kind of man that needs a Bubba Wadsworth to do his dirty work.
Justin's president of World Oil now. There's not going to be any more dirty work.
Don't be so naive, Ashley. You can't think that Justin is going to mend his ways just because he has a title.
Yes, ma'am. I think he will.
Well, then you're in for a big disappointment.
All he needed was one good break.
And he managed to arrange for one at Ryan Connor's expense. Now that disturbs you, doesn't it? Because you know Ryan Connor is innocent and that Justin framed him. That bothers you.
Justin's my husband. I'm going to support him in whatever he does.
Even if that means turning yourself into the kind of person he's become.
Miss Parnell. I agreed to meet him someplace else.
We can't do that. We're supposed to meet Ryan Connor here. Now, if we
Look, he
leave...
says he called the cops. He claims the place will be swarming in 5 minutes.
And you believed him?
Did I have a choice?
We're going to talk about destroying reputations. It seems to me that you have leveled some pretty heavy charges at Justin.
Yes, I have. But there's a difference. Justin is guilty. He's guilty of slant drilling, of killing my husband, and of framing Ryan. And I'm not the only one who believes that.
You're a little long on accusations and a little short on proof.
Max had the proof that he was slant drilling. And Ryan's going to prove that he is not guilty of embezzling funds from World Oil. All Ryan wanted from you was a little time to defend himself.
A year, 2 years.
How about making it a week or 2 weeks, Iris? A little fairness, a little generosity on your part would have made all the difference in the world to you and to Ryan.
If you're quite finished.
There's still time, Iris. You can still call the board members and tell them that you've changed your mind.
Don't be absurd.
You can tell them that you want to be fair to Ryan. You want to give him the opportunity to defend himself.
But I don't.
Iris, you are wrong. Justin's accusations are simply not true.
The majority of the board members believe Justin.
Oh, the board members voted the way you asked them to vote. If you call them now,
It is over. I'm done with it.
Ryan is going to prove his innocence. And you're going to have to find a way to live with yourself. I feel sorry for you.
Mrs. Marshall, you've lived on this ranch your whole life.
Yes, I have.
Things are simple out here. You worry about things like the weather, price of feed. You raise your cattle and your horses, and you have time to think and reflect.
Are you trying to tell me that Justin's world is not like that?
No, it isn't. He has to make split-second decisions. He's under incredible pressure. And the things that he has to make decisions about involve millions and millions of dollars. It's not always a cut-and-dried choice between right and wrong and good and bad.
Anybody has that choice, Ashley, no matter where he lives.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Marshall, I don't agree with you. I understand the way you feel, but I just wish you'd try once to understand the way Justin feels.
Ashley, Justin's father left this ranch to go out into the world to seek his fortune. He was a good man. And in the end, the search destroyed him. Now, Justin's just begun his search, and already he's destroyed himself along with Ryan Connor and Max Decker.
No! Justin did not blow up that well. Max did. And Ryan...
Listen to yourself, Ashley. You're already rationalizing your fears and reservations.
No, I'm not.
Justin will destroy you, too. All your good qualities will slowly disappear. And in time, you'll find yourself a different person. One who's ambitious, manipulative, and bitter.
I don't believe that.
It's already begun. You're giving in. And you'll give in more and more. And soon it will be too late. I don't think that's the kind of person you want to become.
I think you're wrong about Justin. And I just hope that you're wrong about me.
For your sake, Ashley, I hope so, too.
And how is the mother of my child?
All right, where does Mr. Parnell want us to meet?
By the Elephant House.
Oh, Joe, we can't do that. It's too dangerous.
Look. I'm going by myself.
No, you're not.
Elena, use your head. Someone's got to stay behind to tell Mr. Connor what's happened.
Okay. We will leave a message at the refreshment stand. Now, look, we could tell that man over there that we're supposed to meet a friend, and he can send Mr. Connor over to the Elephant House. Joe, I am not letting you go there by yourself. And besides, you need me to work the tape recorder.
Okay.
That's far enough.
You said we were meeting at the Elephant House.
I changed my mind. The money. Give it to her later. Over here. Thank you.
Okay. You got your money. Now you can give us our tickets and passports.
Sorry, Joe.
Hey, look, we're leaving Houston tonight. There's not going to be any way anyone's going to find out that you killed Alex Wheeler. We had an agreement.
Sorry, Joe, there's no way I can afford to leave you alive. You know too many things. Things you don't even know you know.
Like what?
Like Bernie.
Bernie?
Bernie was still alive that afternoon when we left the trailer, Joe. I went back and finished him off. He threatened to go to the police and blow the whole operation.
Well, they can't hang that on you.
Not after I finished you off. But to prove what a gentleman I am, we'll begin with the lady.
You gonna spend all day in the apartment, Billy Joe?
You got a better idea?
I just think you should get out of the house. Gonna be cooped up in that TV station most of tomorrow.
Where you going all dressed up like that?
Out for a late lunch?
I'll come with you then.
Sure. I'm gonna go meet Ricky over at Maggie's.
On second thought, you can just count me out.
Just 'cause Ricky's gonna be there.
No, because Nita's going to be there. As far as I'm concerned, I never want to see Nita again. Not ever.
Nita, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Maybe you and I and Maggie should take Billy Joe Jr. to the park tomorrow.
Sounds like a nice idea.
Okay, good. I mean, the days are so pretty now.
Hi.
Ginny, what's the matter? Oh, honey, I hope you don't blame me for Ryan losing his job.
Rena, how could you even think that? You know that's not true.
I'm beginning to wish I never went to that board meeting. Should have stayed in Venezuela with Daddy.
You're only trying to help. At least you cared.
I really blew it, didn't I?
No, you didn't. Iris was determined to vote Ryan out of the company. I don't think that anyone or anybody could have changed her mind.
I just tried to change her mind.
Went to see Iris?
I certainly did. I begged her to call the board members to ask them to reconsider, but she wouldn't do it. She's got this thing in her mind that Ryan is guilty. Sorry, Ginny. I tried.
Ryan is going to prove that he did not misuse the company funds and he didn't kill Alex.
Honey, he's been trying to prove that for weeks now.
He may be getting even closer. He's meeting someone right now who may be able to clear his name.
Okay. You got your money. Now you can give us our tickets and passports.
Sorry, Joe.
Hey, look, we're leaving Houston tonight. There's not going to be any way anyone's going to find out that you killed Alex Wheeler. We had an agreement.
Sorry, Joe, there's no way I can afford to leave you alive. You know too many things. Things you don't even know you know.
Like what?
Like Bernie.
Bernie?
Bernie was still alive that afternoon when we left the trailer, Joe. I went back and finished him off. He threatened to go to the police and blow the whole operation.
Well, they can't hang that on you.
Not after I finished you off. But to prove what a gentleman I am, we'll begin with the lady.
No! Shoot him! Shoot him!
You don't mean that, Billy Joe.
Don't tell me what I mean. If I never see Nita again, it'll be too soon for me.
I don't believe you for a minute.
Come on. I ain't telling you what to believe. I'm just going over to Maggie's and have your little lunch.
What about you?
I'll be fine right here. By myself.
You're acting like a spoiled little kid, Big Brother.
Don't go lecture me, Ruby, all right?
You're carrying on like this divorce was a sudden shock to you. You've known this was coming for 3 months now.
I didn't know it was coming.
Billy Joe, don't be ridiculous. Of course you did. Nita told you she was going to divorce you, and she hasn't changed her mind since she said it.
I'm telling you, Ruby, Nita didn't want that divorce. But Maggie and that clown of yours, Ricky, they were all too happy to ever kick me out. They couldn't wait.
You got to face the facts, Billy Joe. Nita served you with divorce papers 2 weeks ago, and you just refused to believe what was happening.
That's because I didn't believe Nita wanted a divorce. Not in her heart. Damn it, I still don't think she does.
Then why'd she go through with it?
I don't...
Nobody was forcing her.
I don't know. But I'm sure that Maggie and Ricky had a lot to do with it.
That's crazy, Billy Joe. Ricky may have been interested in Nita at one time, but that is all over now.
Look, Ruby, I know you're Ricky's agent, and I know it's your job to take his side. But Ricky's got a thing for Nita. He still does. He always will.
That is not true, Billy Joe, and you're starting to make me mad.
If the truth makes you mad, and that's your problem, darling.
Ricky and I are getting an apartment together. Do you think Ricky'd move in with me if he still had a thing for Nita?
The two of you still haven't signed the lease yet, and I'll believe that when I see it. You know what I think? I think Ricky's just stringing you along until he finds out what Nita's going to do.
I've had it with you, Billy Joe. I'm going to lunch, and I don't care what you do.
Is Ryan really optimistic about this meeting?
Yes.
Now, you're not just saying that to make me feel better.
Rena, come on. I've always been honest with you.
Yes, you have.
Where's Mama?
Beth told me that she's gone to the office. She also told me that T.J. Canfield came by.
Oh, yes, I know. He followed me home. He blames me for the vote against Ryan.
Rena, you know that's not true, so stop worrying about it. I think he's quite an interesting guy.
You like him?
Yes, I do.
I can't stand him. I have no idea why Daddy ever hired him.
Because he's a terrific lawyer.
Well, I sure hope he is, because he's not a very nice person.
How would you know that anyway? You've done nothing but shout at each other.
I have very good instincts about people.
Usually. Did you, know TJ when he first started working for you, Dad?
I saw him a couple of times, but that was ages ago.
Did you like him then?
Probably not.
I think you should give the guy a chance. I think you'll change your mind about him.
How do you know so much about him?
Well, Ryan and I had dinner with him last night.
Why?
Because Stryker brought him to Houston to help Ryan, and Ryan wanted to talk with him.
Oh.
He's very funny and very charming.
I'll just bet he is.
Oh, guess who he knew at the University of Texas? Miss Ashley Linden.
What a perfect match for him.
Rena,
Where'd you have dinner last night?
at the boathouse.
Max loved that place. He wanted us to celebrate our first anniversary there.
I know, I really hesitated about going.
Oh, life goes on, Ginny.
And it must go on for you, too.
It can't. Not until I destroy Justin.
Rena, will you just forget about Justin?
Can you forget what he's done to Ryan? He forced him out of World Oil. He publicly humiliated him.
Ryan's going to prove his innocence, and then Justin will be humiliated.
And what about Max? Justin killed Max. I'm not going to let him get away with that.
You have to realize that there's nothing you can do about it.
I think there is.
Call the ambulance and the police!
All right, Meredith, there. I'm through with these. You can take them back.
Oh, legal has been on the phone all day. They're in a frenzy about Jim Long's contract.
Oh, what about it?
He hasn't signed it yet.
Jim Long hasn't signed a contract in 10 years. We simply agree on the salary increase and shake hands.
I know. I tried to explain that to them, but someone heard a rumor that another station is trying to hire him away from us.
Another station is constantly trying to hire him away from us.
I told them that, too.
All right. I'll call them and take care of it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh, I thought you were in Venezuela.
I was, but I came back.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Hello, honey.
Hello, Mama.
Well, what happened with Iris?
Nothing. I tried talking to her, but I'm sure it didn't have any effect.
She must have been very upset about your appearance at the board meeting.
Oh, Mama, if you're going to tell me again that I was wrong in trying to help Ryan...
Sweetheart, no matter how good your intentions were, storming into that board meeting was not wise.
But don't you see, I thought that if I went...
Yes, you didn't think. That's the trouble. You went on an impulse, and that always causes problems.
I didn't come back here on impulse. I thought about it half the night.
Oh, and why didn't you talk it over with your father?
He was busy with the Delgado lease.
And you knew he would oppose it.
No, I didn't know that.
Rena, your father told me that he gave instructions to his pilot not to fly you out of the country.
Well, it's going to cost him a bundle because I billed the charter flight to him.
Oh. If you'd like to go back to Caracas, your father will send the plane for you.
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Ginny and Ryan are getting married next week. I want to stay to help Ginny.
All right.
I suppose Margaret Hanson is planning a big feature story on tonight's news about Ryan being voted out of World Oil.
I suspect she'll report Justin's appointment. But beyond that, I have no idea.
Well, Mama, you better find out, because if she's planning another one of those
Honey,
stories...
I will make sure that Margaret's report is honest.
Ginny told me that Ryan has a meeting this afternoon that may help to prove his innocence.
With whom?
She doesn't know. Ryan didn't tell her. I guess he didn't want to disappoint her in case something didn't happen with the meeting.
Your sandwich will be ready shortly. No rush. Do you want me to get you anything from the kitchen while I'm back there?
Oh, no, thanks, Angela.
Huh, I wonder what's keeping Ricky. He was supposed to be meeting me here.
I haven't seen him today yet.
You're looking good, Nita.
Am I?
Yeah. You look a heck of a lot better than Billy Joe does right now, I'll tell you that much.
How is Billy Joe?
Oh, he's still pretty hurt, but I think he'll get over it. I've been trying to convince him that divorce was the best thing for everyone involved. Don't you agree?
I think it was the best thing for me.
One of the producers on the Phil Roberts show is thinking about giving Billy Joe a bigger part, seeing as how he's proved himself to be so popular.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so pretty soon he's going to be so successful you wouldn't have seen much of him anyway.
Well, Billy Joe deserves to be successful.
Being married to a performer is no life for someone like you, Nita. Pretty soon Ricky and Billy Joe are going to have to be making a lot of public appearances, you know, going to parties and that kind of thing.
Will they?
And what with taking care of the baby and all that other domestic stuff, you know, you couldn't enjoy life like that. You just feel out of place.
Well, no, you're probably right.
What you need is someone who can appreciate all the wonderful qualities you have to offer.
What qualities are those?
Well, you're a homebody, Nita. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of men really like that kind of woman. The kind of woman who likes the kind of things you like and dresses the way you do.
How do I dress?
Well, your style is kind of what I'd call down to earth.
Plain, you mean?
Oh, I didn't say that.
But that's what you meant.
No. It's just that performers like Billy Joe and Ricky, they need something a little more showy.
Like you, Ruby? Excuse me, Ruby. I better go upstairs and check up on Billy Joe Jr.
Sure.
Honey, I'm sure Ryan will be able to prove his innocence eventually.
Max never managed to prove that Justin was slant drilling.
Rena, we're talking about Ryan now.
I know. But it might be too late for Ryan, too. The damage is already done.
I don't think that's true.
Mama, I guarantee you that your star reporter will rake Ryan right over the coals again tonight. Everyone in Houston tomorrow morning will know that Ryan got kicked out of World Oil.
Rena, you know I cannot prevent Margaret Hanson from reporting a legitimate news story.
But she'll go out of her way to make Ryan look bad and Justin good, won't she?
Yes, she probably will. And I can't prevent that either. If I fire her, she will just go to another station and do the same thing there.
So Justin wins again. He keeps winning and winning and winning. Well, it's true, Mama. He's gotten everything he wanted. Control of the ranch, the presidency of World Oil, a wife who's carrying his baby.
That's really what's bothering you, isn't it? The fact that Ashley's going to have a baby.
I should be carrying Max's baby.
I know, sweetheart.
Oh, I wanted that baby so bad. Justin took away any chance of that by killing Max.
Rena, honey, you cannot spend your life mourning Max or mourning the fact that you can't have his child.
I know, you're right.
Sweetheart, you have to find a way to deal with it.
Oh, I will. Believe me, I will.
You know, honey, you look exhausted. Why don't you go home and get some sleep, and I'll wake you up in time for dinner.
No, I want to talk to TJ. Where is he staying?
At the firm suite at the hotel.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Rena, what do you want to discuss with TJ?
I was pretty nasty to him this afternoon. You wanted me to apologize to him, didn't you?
Well, then why don't I call him and invite him to have dinner with us tonight?
Mama, I don't want to have dinner with him. I just want to talk to him.
Thank you, honey. And y'all come back again real soon. You hear? Bye-bye now. Can I help you, Ruby?
I'm just waiting for Angela to bring me my lunch.
It's a little bit late for lunch, isn't it?
Well, that's the way it is when you manage a performer. Your schedule gets all thrown off.
Nita was real upset just now.
I know. So's my brother, Billy Joe. That's what I was just talking to Nita about.
I know what you were talking to Nita about. And I don't think you better come in here anymore.
Last thing I heard, this place was a public establishment.
I want you to leave Nita alone.
My pleasure.
Nita doesn't need anything from the likes of you.
I was just trying to help her. Trying to show her how she's better off without Billy Joe. And considering how you feel about my brother, I would think that should make you very happy.
Nita is a nice girl. She's a sweet girl with a wonderful sense of values.
Vicki, I got a message you wanted to see me.
Yes, Margaret, please sit down.
Listen, I still have 2 segments to edit for the
This
news.
won't take long.
I assume this is about Justin Marshall.
You took a crew over to the World Oil Building to interview him?
He was named president of the company this afternoon, but I guess you know that.
Yes. And is Justin's appointment going to be your lead story tonight?
Depends on what breaks between now and 11, but it probably will be my lead.
Do you think it's that important?
Are you trying to tell me what I can report and cannot report?
No. I have never done that, and I don't intend to start now. But what I will not tolerate is a hatchet job on Ryan Connor.
Hatchet job?
Yes. That's what your last report was, and I won't have it. Now, Margaret, you can report Justin's appointment. That's fine. But I want you to do it honestly and objectively.
You mean make Ryan look good?
I mean leave out the half-truths and innuendo.
Well, since you hate Justin and you love Ryan, I can understand your wanting to protect Ryan.
I am protecting the integrity of my news division. That's the issue here. That's always been the issue.
Okay.
You know, Margaret, I've warned you before about slanting the news to favor your friends. But this will be the last time.
Vicki, if you fire me, your ratings will drop at least 10 points.
For a week or two, perhaps. That's the least of my concerns.
Might concern your advertisers.
Then we can just buy time on another show. Or another station.
You'll lose a lot of money.
I can afford it. That's one of the nicest aspects about being wealthy. I don't have to compromise my principles for ratings or profits. You might think about that.
Yeah, this is T.J. Canfield from the Bellman Suite. Do I have any messages? Okay, look, could you do me a favor? Just place a call to Mr. Bellman in Caracas first, and then I'll return Mr. Hewitt's call. No, I don't want to return Mr. Hewitt's call first. No, look, I know it's 5 hours later in Morocco, but it's okay. Mr. Hewitt stays up late. Yeah, thanks.
Are you going to stay on the phone the whole time I'm here?
That depends on how long you're going to stay here.
I don't have check-in until 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, my first call was to room service for wine and cheese.
Sure doesn't look like room service to me.
I'm not.
Hello there.
Hello, TJ.
Susan Wilson, this is Rena Bellman Decker. Susan's an old friend of mine from college.
Oh, how nice. I'd like to talk to you privately, if possible.
Sure. Susan, why don't I give you a call in your room later when we're through?
Don't bother. Because I probably won't be there.
So much for Susan.
Well, she'll get over it. She never stays mad long.
Maybe she'll surprise you this time.
I doubt it. What is it you wanted to talk to me about?
I want to destroy Justin Marshall.
You shouldn't have done that, Maggie.
Gave me a great deal of satisfaction.
Ruby has never done anything to you.
Now look, Ricky, what you and Ruby do is your own business. But get one thing straight. Whoever comes through that door is my business, and I don't want you bringing that tramp in here again.
Don't say that again, Maggie.
Ricky, I'm only your aunt now, and I can't tell you how to live your life. But I can say who I want to come in through my door.
Ruby is my manager.
I know exactly what Ruby is.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to eat someplace else every time I come into town?
If you insist on eating with Ruby Wright, then that's exactly what you better do.
No, thank you.
Why do you want to destroy Justin?
Because he killed my husband.
Your daddy told me about the explosion.
Did he tell you the whole story?
Yeah. I'm truly sorry about Max.
Daddy agrees that Justin was responsible.
He thinks that he's partially responsible.
The law won't punish him, though, TJ.
I think eventually Justin will get exactly what he deserves.
What makes you think that? He already has everything he wants.
He didn't get the mineral rights to the Marshall Ranch.
He'll find a way to drill out there, I guarantee it.
No way. Your daddy's going to have that case tied up in court for years.
What about Ryan?
I think Ryan will find a way to prove that he wasn't embezzling World Oil funds.
Even if he can prove that, will he still be able to prove that Justin is framing him?
Well, it's possible.
Iris won't buy that in a minute. She'll continue to have Justin as president of World Oil, and he'll continue to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
Until he breaks the law.
Breaking the law? What about slag drilling? Isn't that against the law?
Of course it is.
He talked Mr. Johnson into giving false statements about Ryan. I believe that is against the law.
You know
he
it is.
also tricked Barrett into selling his shares of the ranch. That is also against the law, TJ.
Rena, it's not all as clear as black and white.
Well, to me, it is. If you're waiting around for Justin to do something that he'll be arrested for, you're just wasting your time. He's too clever for that. It hasn't happened yet, and it never will.
Okay, Rena. What is it exactly that you want to do?
I don't care. Just so long as Justin Marshall is wiped out. Professionally, personally, and financially. You can do it any way you want, TJ. I don't care. Illegally, legally, you just do it.
What do you want me to do? Shoot him?
I thought of that, but that's too good for him. It's too easy and quick.
You're serious, aren't you?
You bet I am. I even considered the possibility of trading my shares of the mineral rights for a job at World Oil so I could maneuver Justin out of position. Do you realize what that would cost me? Max loved that land more than anything else in the world.
Except you.
Will you help me then? Daddy isn't going to be back from Venezuela for another week or so.
Look, why don't you just wait till he gets back and talk
No,
it over
I
with him?
can't wait. I've wasted too much time already. Justin has enormous power.
Well, at least give me until tomorrow to think it over. I'll consider it carefully, and I'll give you a call.
Hey, what are you doing here? Hey, what are you doing here? Come on.
I guess crime don't pay. You're the prettiest girl. Did I ever tell you that? There's so many things I want to tell you. I love you. You know that, Elaine.
Yes.
And no matter what happens,
Stop it, Joe. Stop talking. You gotta rest.
Well, I'll have to spend 20 years in prison.
Joe, you are not gonna leave me. I won't let you.
Don't forget me.
That was a quick lunch. You get caught in a rainstorm? What's wrong with you?
Maggie Decker!
What about Maggie Decker?
I'm gonna get even with that woman if it's the last thing I do.
Well, what'd she do?
She threw a glass of water in my face, that's what she did!
What'd she do that for?
No reason. Go away!
You don't even know who that is.
I know who it is.
Ruby, I want to talk to you. Where's Ruby?
She's in the other room.
I'd like to talk to Ruby alone if you don't mind, Billy Joe.
Well, I was planning on taking a walk anyway.
I want to know what's going on.
Why don't you ask your Aunt Meg?
I'm asking you. What's going on? You two are acting like a couple of school kids throwing water on each other.
I think you're talking to the wrong person.
I already talked to Maggie. Now I want to hear your side.
Maggie's hated me ever since the first time she ever saw me. She's got something against the whole Wright family. Billy Joe told me she once pulled a gun on him.
What did you say to her that made her so angry?
I should have known you'd stick up for your Aunt Maggie.
I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm not sticking up for Aunt Maggie or anybody else. I just want to know what happened.
Maggie said I was trash. The last time somebody called me that, I was in the 6th grade. And he had 15 stitches in him by the time Billy Joe got through with him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't advise Billy Joe to try that with my Aunt Maggie. She's in a pretty bad mood right now, and she might give him a run for his money.
I'm not trash, Ricky. Nobody calls me that.
Nobody thinks that you are trash, Ruby.
Maggie does.
She didn't mean it.
She did mean it.
Well, she just lost her temper.
Do you think I'm cheap, Ricky?
No, I don't think you're cheap. Of course not.
Do you mean that?
How can you even ask me that?
Billy Joe and me, we come from nothing. I know sometimes I try too hard. I know that's why a lot of people don't like me.
Well, I like you.
I ain't never had anything until now. And I fight to hold on to what I've got. But I'm not cheap. I'm not.
Hi, Meredith.
Hello, TJ. Aren't you going to give me a kiss?
How are you?
I'm fine. You look terrible. What's wrong?
I guess I'm tired.
I know better than that. But I won't push.
How's Cody?
He's fine. Got another promotion.
Hey, good for Cody. When are you going to get married?
Oh, next year. Year after.
Better marry that man soon, darling.
I haven't seen you for 2 years, and right away you start lecturing me. Oh!
It's only because I want to make you happy.
I am happy. But thank you.
Hello, TJ.
Hi, Vicky.
Don't you dare go back to Casablanca without taking me to dinner first.
I won't. You know, if you'd fire that girl, she'd marry Cody in a minute.
She will marry Cody when she is ready to. And you stop pushing her. She is very happy.
Is she?
Yes, she is.
Well, your daughter's not. She came to see me this afternoon.
Did she apologize to you?
Not exactly. She wants me to help her destroy Justin Marshall.
Oh, TJ.
I knew she was upset about Justin, but I never expected anything like this.
No, part of it might be her reaction to Ryan losing his job.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Well, maybe if Ryan's meeting goes well this afternoon and he's able to clear his name.
I don't think that's going to make any difference. Not with the mood she's in now.
Well, she's so anxious to help Ryan.
Well, I'm sure that she'll be happy for Ryan, but it won't cause any hardship for Justin. She really wants that man to suffer. I'm sorry, but that's how she feels.
What did she ask you to do?
Anything. Legal, illegal, she doesn't really care.
What'd you tell her?
Well, I didn't want to get her any more riled up than she already was, so I told her that I'd think about it and then give her a call tomorrow.
Will you help her?
No. There's no way she's going to win against Justin. She'll only destroy herself trying.